Yo, what's up, y'all? The video you just saw is two of my mother's sons that stole little Sean's will. My mother, Georgia Gunby, still alive, left little Sean a will of everything she owned. She willed it to him, she told me. And she left the will with a lawyer up in Washington, Georgia. My mother was living in Lincoln, Georgia. My mother's name is Georgia Gunby. I'm her fourth son. My mother had 4 sons. I'm the last one. I'm the baby. The video you just saw is 2 of her sons with the cop down there in Lincoln exchanging her property. You saw it. The deal is this. The lawyer that my mother hired before she died to perform some work for her upon her death, which was to produce her last will and testament and give it to me, and everything in the will was to go to little Sean. Y'all know little Sean, my son. But when my mother died, and this was a black girl lawyer, this was a foundational black American lawyer, female. My mother hired her. My mother was foundational black American, and the lawyer she hired was a foundational black American. The lawyer, upon my mother's death, because my mother called and told me, she said, Sean, if something happened to me, you call Miss Booker. She's an attorney in Washington, Georgia. And before my mother died, 6 months, she started to call me and ask me for little Sean's date of birth, little Sean's social security number, my address, little Sean's address, everything. And I was curious, I didn't know why. And then she told me, she said, if something happened to me, call Miss Booker. And about 3 months before she died, she was going to the dentist to get some dental procedures done. And she said, Sean, they're gonna have to give me anesthesia to do some dental work. They're gonna have to put me to sleep. If things go wrong, call Miss Booker. So I was a little taken aback because my mother never really talked like that. My mother was close to the vest. But I kind of, she was kind of letting me know in certain terms that, hey, she was psychologically and mentally preparing herself for her departure from this plane of existence. So I was like, all right. So when my mother died, I called this lawyer, and I couldn't get the lawyer on the phone. I called this lawyer probably about 11 to 12 times, text her about 13 times. The day of my mother's funeral, me and little Sean flew down to Atlanta. We drove from Atlanta to Lincoln. The funeral was at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or something like that. From 9 or 10 o'clock that morning, I was hunting for this lawyer. I went to this lawyer's, I went up to I went to the courthouse. I asked the lady in the courthouse. I went to her office. She wasn't there. I went into the courthouse to ask the lady, yo, where's this attorney at? I went in the phone book, found her principal residence, her house. I went to her house, knocked on the door, and I went everywhere looking for this girl, and I couldn't find her. And she never answered none of my calls. I ended up getting to my mother's funeral late because of that. Come to find out, after the funeral, or was it that was the day before? That was the day before. I can't remember. I don't know if my mother was buried during the week or on the weekend. I can't remember. But the day before, I was with the two niggas you saw at the beginning of this video, in the video where they're exchanging my mother's property. One nigga lying, saying he was a federal cop. That was a lie. He was a piece of shit. And then the other nigga saying, oh, I didn't know this was that. This was that. Those are her sons. And both them niggas looked me in my face, both of them, in front of my grandmother's house. I was standing right out front. And they told me out of their mouth, I swear to God on Little Sean's eyesight and on my hearing, may Little Sean never get to see me again, or may I never hear his voice again. They told me, yeah, I heard in the will, everything go to Little Sean. That's what they told me. And unbeknownst to me at that time, what they were doing was they were gauging my awareness and trying to figure out if in fact I had a copy of the will, if my mother had in fact given me a copy, right? Which my mother didn't, because my mother trusted this attorney that she paid her money for to perform a service for her upon her death. And you only die one time, so we never knew. Had I knew then what I know now, I would have told my mother, yo, ma, get me a copy. Give me a copy of the will, so I got a copy. But she seemed to have everything under control. She felt she did. And I guess she trusted this girl, and she assumed, you know, that the girl would do what she was paid to do. But the girl didn't. Black on black crime. Foundational black American crime against foundational black American crime. So when they found out by talking to me, they were kind of testing, fishing to see what they knew I didn't have one. So then they knew that I didn't have one. So the lawyer ended up getting with my other brother, Keith, and them two got together, and Kent got with James Gunby, my mother's brother. My mother's brother is an insurance agent in Greenwood, South Carolina. His name is James Gunby. He's from Lincoln. And he writes insurance, and my mother trusted him. And my mother had a couple of life insurance policies. of which little Sean was the beneficiary. Little Sean was supposed to get everything. He changed the beneficiary form from little Sean to Shannon Zellers, my mother's niece, great niece. And her brother, James, him and Kent together ordered 8 death certificates on my mother. 8. They had went in her house, all my mother's nieces, not all of them, but the majority of them, all the Tots kids, except Godfrey, even Billy Boy. Hey, Billy Boy, hey, Billy Boy, hey, girl. Brenda, Boo, Gina, Susie, Mickey, Cena, and Billy Boy. My mother died on a Thursday. I got down there, I think Friday. And before I could get down there, they went in my mother's house and stole all of her Pandora bracelets. From what I heard, my mother had a $10,000 diamond necklace and bracelet set, Pandora, David Yurman Pandora bracelets, Michael Kors, Gucci, Louis Vuitton bags, everything. The titles to my mother's cars, the keys to my mother's cars. They took everything before I can fly from here down to there. And I actually had to go. Mickey, Sharon Gunby, that's her name, Mickey. She do hair in Lincoln. That's my mother's niece. That in 1976, 1977, Mickey got pregnant at the age of like 14. And my mother rescued her from Lincoln, flew her up here to Clifton, New Jersey, and she lived with us. See, my mother didn't keep Keith and Kent. She left them down south. And then she had another son who she let go into the foster system. She left him at the hospital. And then she had me. I was last. I'm the 4th. And she kept me. She raised me from the beginning to the end. That's my mother's life. My mother was not perfect. My mother she made mistakes. She was born in 1943, raised in the Jim Crow South, came up north in the 60s, and was a wild young 20-year-old girl just like you were. So that's the story. So I had to go by Mickey's house to get the keys to my mother's house, of which she told me on the phone when I called that she had the keys to the house, she had the keys to everything, and that Georgia told her not to let nobody in her house. That's what Mickey told me. Mickey, Sharon Gunby told me, Sean Gunby, my mother's favorite son. She had a favorite. I was her favorite. I was the baby. And I was the one that she kept and raised 1,000% after she abandoned a baby boy and left him in the hospital and he went into the foster system. She told me that my mother told her not to let nobody in her house, and that she was entrusted with the keys. That's what Mickey told me on the phone. But as soon as I got to the state of Georgia, as soon as I got to Lincoln, I went straight to her house. And I said, bitch, you better give me them motherfucking keys immediately. And she started bucking. And I was on my way into her. And Quincy Brown, you can ask Quincy Brown. He either, because I was by myself. It was me and Little Sean. I was by myself. It was about 12 or 13 of them. Boot was there, Brenda Norman, Susie, her fruit pop grandson, what's his name, Todd Darris. All of them was there. Quincy, Kent, everybody was there. I was there by myself. And I was finna fly into her. And Quincy Brown either saved all of them from me or saved me from all of them. And I left there with my keys, with my mother's keys to everything. But they had stole all the titles to the car. My mother had a Mercedes. They stole the title to that. They stole the title to this car. And man, I can really, really see how somebody can reach the point of anger where they want to murder, where they want to commit murder. I fully understand it now. So, to get to the point of this video is they robbed, at the end of the day, separate me from my mother, separate my emotions from this. Let's just make this a mutually exclusive event. A 77-year-old woman wants to give her 9-year-old grandson something. An elderly lady wants to give a baby something. Both of them are helpless. And some people step in and steal it. Now let me tell y'all something about the sun, moon, and stars. The sun, moon, and stars is real. And there's a moral law in the universe that always ends on justice. God don't like when you mess with old folks and kids. Sun, moon, and stars don't like that. And that's why when niggas get to prison and them inmates find out that you did something to kids or did something to old people, you finished. 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 The lawyer that my mother paid and entrusted, who jerked her and betrayed her, died 1 year later on the same day that my mother passed. My mother passed on October 20th, 2020. Or was it October 22nd? October 22nd, 2020. 1 year later, on October 22nd, 2021, the lawyer died. She was a young girl. She was a young girl. Go around that way, man. Thank you, man. 6 months later, Keith died of the heart attack. Her other son that got with the lawyer to help steal the stuff. Last Sunday, the other nigga, Kent, he had a stroke. Last week, he had a stroke. I was supposed to go down there last week because my mother's brother died. Shout out to Jerry Gunby. Shout out to Matt. I was supposed to go down there and be a pallbearer for my uncle, my mother's brother, Jerry Gunby. And Jerry Gunby is the last of the true Gunbys. The last one. Teresa Norman and James Gunby, they have a different father than Jerry, Georgia, Jesse, Son, Bud, all them other ones. My grandmother had 2 outside kids with a different man with them. Murrays, they not real Gunbys. Neither one of them. So I say all of this to all my subscribers, especially young dudes in their 20s. Don't let money and greed knock you off your square. I haven't even gotten, the estate ended up going, all of them got against me. Kent and Keith got together to go against me so that I couldn't administer the estate, right? Because it was 3 of us. When the will got missing, everything was supposed to go to Little Sean. But when the will got missing, Georgia law states that the beneficiaries become the next of kin. So she had 3 boys. So we all got 33% apiece. So them 2 got together and made 67%, and they overruled everything I said because I only had 33%. So I couldn't even administer my mother's estate, and I still don't have. It got given to this attorney down there, who's related to Susie and Susie's husband, right? And Susie stole from my mother. My mother saved her life. They all stabbed my mother in the back. Mickey too. Mickey came up here, she was 14, she had a baby, she was 15. My mother came up here, she had the baby in Patterson at Barnett Hospital. She went to Clifton High School for 1 year. My mother took care of everything. She didn't have to worry about nothing. And this is what Mickey did to my mother. So the estate got handed over to this lawyer. I still ain't got nothing from the estate. It's been 3 years almost. October be 3 years, right? But hey, the thing is this. Look at what happened to them niggas, man. The lawyer is dead. Keith heart attack, dead. Fuck him. Kent just had a stroke last week. Kent, nigga, fuck you too. And when I see you, stroke or no stroke, I'm still stepping to you. You still got to deal with me. Still. Paralyzed or not. You can't do wrong by people and get right. The sun, moon, and stars is real. And Georgia Gunby, as you can see, is still moving pieces around the board from the grave, because you can't do wrong and get right. If you do wrong, you get the right results, and that is a wrong turnout, a wrong result. So that's my life. This is my real life. This is my real life. What's your real life? This is my real life. This is the podcast with Soul. But I'm still living. I'm still here. I look good. I'm strong. No health problems. I don't take no medication. I work out every day. Look at how good I look. I'm clean. My son is in my life. Sean is good. He's healthy. We living. We living. Yeah, it hurt me what they did. Yes, it bothered me what they did, without a doubt. Yes, I was angry. Yes, I was furious. Yes, I was livid. Yes, I wanted to hurt some people. And thank God that I have little Sean, because I had to consider him. Before I could do that, I had to consider him. Nobody was gonna take care of him if I'm gone. If I'm out of little Sean's life, it's over for him. It's over for him. I'm his everything. I'm his superhero, as he is mine. And he is my everything. So I felt like a punk. I felt like a sucker. I felt like a cold punk. These niggas robbed your son, Sean. These niggas robbed your mother. What your mother wanted to give to your son. Sean, you gonna let this go down like that? You gonna let this slide? It was a part of me inside saying, man, go kill everybody. It was a part of me saying that. It was a part of me inside of me saying that, and I was getting ready to. Some very important people close to me had to talk to me for days and say, Sean, don't do that. Shout out to my nigga Powerful from Harlem. Shout out to Powerful from Harlem, who did 26 years for murder in New York State Prison. He said, Sean, man, before you do anything rash, he talked to me. He talked to me. Talk to me. And ultimately, I decided to just feel like a punk and feel like a chump and just go through the pain, knowing that one day that pain would subside, and knowing that I wasn't no punk, knowing that I wasn't no chump, knowing that I wasn't weak. Because it wasn't like, you see how I got this cell phone in my pocket? It wasn't like they came upon me and physically aggressed against me, molested me, knocked me out, and took my phone. They did everything on the sneak tip. So that don't count, right? Although my psychology was hurt, my ego was hurt, my pride was hurt, my self-esteem was hurt, you know? But I chose not to act on my anger. And look at what happened to all these people. 2 of them dead, 1 nigga just had a stroke. And fuck them all. That's how I feel. And I'm here, and me and little Sean, we doing good. We got milk in the refrigerator. We got about 8, 9, 10 rolls of toilet paper in the bathroom. We got paper towels. We got soap. We got clean towels. His pillowcases and his sheets on his bed is clean. His comforter is clean. All of my sheets on my bed and my pillowcases is clean. I got clean drawers, clean socks. He got clean drawers, clean socks. We got milk in the refrigerator. We got a loaf of bread, a couple dozen eggs in the refrigerator. He's healthy and I'm healthy. He ain't on no medication and I ain't on no medication. And we alive, and ain't neither one of us had no stroke. So I'm winning. Mickey, Shannon, you on deck. James, you's a cold sucker. James Gunby, you already a cold sucker. From what I hear, Kyle ain't even your son. Somebody else's son. Another man's son. You raised another man's son for his whole life. Spent money on a child that ain't even yours. You's a true sucker. Howie Gunby, you's a sucker too. You know it. You didn't even call me the night you went and picked my mother up and took her to the hospital. I don't like you neither, you know it. And you was only somebody at Morris Brown because you was related to me. You went to Morris Brown when I was there. Ree went, your sister went, but she quit. She couldn't hang. You went, you pledged Kappa, and the Kappas used to hang with me. They said, Sean, this your cousin? I said, yeah. You was able to pledge Kappa and became a Kappa because of me, nigga. My name. You was somebody on campus because of me. They all came to me. Said, Sean, this your cousin? This your cousin? Because all them niggas wanted to be like me. Because I was getting the most pussy on campus. I had honeys at Spelman, Clark, Morris Brown, honeys from Atlanta. I was that nigga. You know what it was. So you was a sucker too. I'll tell you to your face. You know it. All of y'all. Hey, Billy boy. Gina, you's a sucker too. Susie, you's a sucker too. I don't like none of y'all. You can't come to New Jersey and New York as long as you live. You're barred from here. And if any of my scribers, any of y'all from Lincoln ever hear that they here, all y'all in Lincoln and Augusta and Thompson and Washington that follow my channel, if you ever hear that any of them are here in New York and New Jersey, DM me or FaceTime me quick and tell me they up here. Please do. Peace.